Tres, dos. Hi, friend.
I'm Nolo.
And I'm Chris. And we are so glad that you had time to squeeze us into your schedule today. We are 30, flirty, and quite honestly, just fucking trying. So if you are too, boo, this is the right podcast for you. We are in our second season, struggling with others. On today's episode, we are talking about dating in 2025 because even though we're married, we know dating is rough out here. So this time, we brought in an actual professional who can help us understand and give us real tea on modern dating. Our special guest is Dr. Jessica Sanchez, licensed sex therapist and pleasure advocate.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you both so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay.
Yes.
We're so excited to have you.
Dr. Sanchez is gonna help us unpack dating now compared to when we were last single, why women are choosing not to settle nowadays, and share a little of her own experience as a woman navigating in her single era. So grab your wine or cafecito, get comfy, and let's talk about things that we should probably be saving for a therapist.
I'm so fucking tired.
Love it.
All right, let's start whining and whining.
Yes.
Today, we are drinking, Le Peur de Bourdieu. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Use that French. Use
Yeah,
that French.
you got it. Okay, listen,
Crack it
mama,
up.
we spend money at TCU, okay?
There you go.
There you go. So this is a Grand Vin de Bordeaux. This is why I add the pictures on the YouTube videos because, girl, it's a Sauvignon Blanc from 2024, so not vintage this time. Nola, what was the thought process with this one?
It was pretty, good price, and there were only like 2 left, so I was like, this must be a popular
Perfect.
one.
Bet. So we're looking at 11.5, and I have absolutely no idea to the flavor because it doesn't say shit. So we're gonna go in blind, ladies.
I think that it did say citrusy and crisp. So,
Ooh, okay.
which is everything you want in a Sauvignon Blanc.
Let's try this together. Look at me
Yes.
giving us classy pours this
Right.
time.
Yes.
You.
So classy.
Let's do our little chin
I'm struggling. All right, cheers. Chin
chin.
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 Oh, that is crisp.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
This will go great with the charcuterie board that you made.
I know Nola's been killing it on the charcuterie board for our
Thank
guests.
you.
So good.
It's really
I'm
amazing.
trying.
Nola the other day said something so stupid. She goes, I hope that what I'm doing is enough. And I was like, are you kidding me? You write out the most like exquisite scripts for our guests, like literally so well thought out so we can all fill a conversation because you know we're gonna struggle. You do the most amazing charcuterie boards. Like you put so much thought into getting the perfect wine for the guests and doing all the things. I'm like, girl, I'll punch you.
Yeah.
Be nicer to my friend.
Sorry.
No, you are so organized. I appreciate everything.
Someone
that you
has
put
to be the
together.
type A
Yeah.
here.
We love it. That's
Hates
literally-
it, knows that they can.
Knows that I'm good at it. Fuck.
Yeah,
Sometimes I just
truly.
want to be type B sometimes.
That's
you
right.
know?
Listen,
That's
that's fair. I will say I don't make Nolo be in charge 24/7. I do let her be baby sometimes, but on the pod.
On pod days, you
Pod
know.
days,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
during the week when I come here, Chris does a great job taking care of me. So, yeah.
I'm like, I swear I also do things for her. I'm not just a baby 24/7. All right. Well, speaking of complaints,
Perfect segue.
Dr. Sanchez, please kick us off. What is your wine for the week?
Ooh, yes, I'm moving. So, with moving, it's just a lot of organizing, getting rid of, does this bring me joy? If not, does it go in this box and
Yes.
this one?
Yes.
And just as a single girly, doing it on my own. And so there's been so many times, ironically with what we're going to talk about today, but where I have been like, I just wish I had a man. And then the other day I was like, No, because he'd probably fold all my blankets wrong. And then I would get annoyed, and now I'm doing double the work. So I'm good, actually. I got this all by myself.
Unless he's paying for the moving company, how is
Girl,
he helping?
this is
How is he helping? How is he helping?
That part.
Like,
so that's my wine for the week.
Yeah.
But I'm almost done, and I'm feeling really good about it overall.
oh,
So,
yay!
Yeah. New chapter, all of that good stuff.
I know. Moving is so hard.
It really is.
It's a lot of thought process, and you're like getting rid of things.
Oh, yes.
Actually selling them.
Selling them, donating, intentionally donating. Yes.
I
And
hope you're
dealing
proud
with
of
the
yourself.
sellers too is a whole different ball game.
That could be its
That's a
own
whole
little
episode.
wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 5 bottles of wine.
Oh my god. Nolo, what about you, baby?
It's been a week.
Yeah.
Especially because for some reason my anxiety was just so bad this week, and to where I started getting physical symptoms, which I haven't had that happen in a while. Normally I just have normal anxiety, you know, like
just the kind that lives in your chest, but it doesn't manifest itself.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but no, to where I've been having like chest pains and a couple of panic attacks here and there, but you know, it's just gotta keep telling myself I'm not being chased by a wild animal every day. Like, you're chilling, you're everything's fine. You know, just like minor stressors that just especially after my whole I had a physical earlier this week. Was not loving the blood test results. It's not super serious, but it's just I just have to make some changes. It's not that serious, but I just didn't love them, you know, me being a little perfectionist and everything. Like, what? What do you mean I failed this?
And with health being such a huge part of your identity and the things that you love for yourself, I can imagine, too, that kind of takes a little jab at your...
So it's trying to reel myself back in, because I'm an all or nothing person. So I'm like, I have to cut out this. I have to do this. Like... changing my whole diet and, you know, being super dramatic about it. But then I had to reel it back in and be like, no, there's some minor adjustments, you know, take a breather, like, you'll be fine. It's not, you know, life or death. It's okay. So it's just constantly having to remind myself to, like, chill the fuck out. Is the real tea. Felt. So you know, I just have to get better at my stress management skills. Felt the real tea. What about you, Chris?
Well, you see, I did that really super non-common thing that no one with uteruses do, where they're acting absolutely unhinged, and then they're like, oh, why is it? And then you get your cycle, and you're like, oh, look at that. So this last week, I was supposed to get caught up on podcast stuff, because I had kind of dropped the ball the week before. Again, no idea why. I was lutealing, that's why. But this past week I was like really struggling mentally, and my depression was really bad. And I'm like, you made the joke about not being chased by a wild animal, but I'm like, but also, have you seen the news? As a queer immigrant, I am being chased by wild animals. So my fight or flight has been intense, and it's always it's always worse because I do have PTSD and all of these things. It is always worse during my cycle. And then you sprinkle in current events, and you know, we've just it's just a recipe for disaster. So this last week was not what I hoped it would be. I do have to give myself props and say I got more done than I thought I would, and the episode went up, and that's what counts. However, I am really sick and tired of posting the episode the day before, and I really want to get caught up, and actually I don't want to be posting episodes while I'm on vacation during Christmas. I want to get these scheduled ahead of time. I want to make sure I have time to actually cut the episodes so that I can do
enjoy
the right
the
marketing
holidays,
and enjoy enjoy the holidays, but too, like, this is such a big project for me. I want this to succeed so badly. So I'm like, pull the energy out of your ass, pendeje. Like, you know, so that's my wine. Is yet again, I feel like I let myself down, and that's just really fucking annoying. And that's the tea. But also, I was Latiling, so yeah.
Listen,
So
this is our business. We get to work around our cycles,
exactly.
so we can at least accommodate
100%.
that. You know,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, that's fair. But also, my husband's like, this is a business, and
Get to it.
get to it, because when are we gonna start generating? When's this business gonna, we've made investments. Where's our ROI?
Right,
So I'm like,
shout out to the producer for keeping us in line.
shout out to the producer.
All right. Well, now that we have released that negativity, let's go ahead and reset with a quick moment of mindfulness. So I invite you guys to join us if you are able to. We're going to do a quick breathing exercise. So if you can, close your eyes. Get into it. Let's be nice and relaxed. We're going to take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. One more deep breath and out. And let's slowly blink our eyes, wiggle your shoulders, roll your head, and let's get in the moment.
Today, we are living vicariously through Dr. Sanchez on how tough the dating world is right now. To us, sometimes it sounds like our single friends who are interested in a lifelong partnership are having to choose between settling for breadcrumbs or accepting the possibility of a life without a partner. Especially in this digital world where there's constant access to people online, but no real connection, finding the right partner for you can feel nearly impossible. Doctora, can you give us some insight into the current dating landscape and how it's changed since we were on the scene?
Oh my gosh, so much has changed since you ladies were on the scene. No, I think you're kind of already started talking about it. Like we're in 2025, technology rules the world, AI is ruling our worlds right now. But with that, right, I feel like with technology evolving, people's communication skills have been left behind. People's ability to talk to someone in a natural, organic way, just like us right here, like us three on this couch. Like we just have shared energy and started, and you don't necessarily experience that in person anymore. And because of that technology and its influence, it's like, well, let me get on an app. Which again is, there's a screen stuck between me and the person until one of us says, hey, do we want to meet? And so I think with technology, the interpersonal experience of getting to know someone, and then people's discomfort with being vulnerable and being able to stay behind a screen.
I feel like so many people know that the longer that you stay behind the screen without meeting in person, the more likely it is that it's going to fail. However, they would much rather do that and get the pseudo feelings of giddiness and joy from the idea of the person than actually going out on the date after a week and saying, okay, let's see if we're jiving in person and see if this can go somewhere.
Which, what you're describing, right, is how we are our brains have been wired today to get the dopamine hit. Let me get on TikTok and get the pleasure real quick of seeing a funny video and laughing, or let me get on Instagram and check my reel that I posted and be like, oh my gosh, we've had so many hits so far. Wanting the dopamine hit, but then closing the app and then going back to just seclusion.
I feel like so many of us don't understand the why of the need for that your body's telling you you're missing something. You're missing something. You're missing a connection. You're missing a feeling. You're missing a this. And instead of focusing on that, we're like, okay, let's move on to the next one. Swipe again. Swipe again.
Right? Which also speaks to our transactional society of capitalism, how everything's a transaction, right? And it's how do I get that dollar faster? How do I get promoted faster? Whatever it is. But then I'm like, listening to you say that, I'm like, ooh, we've also are so disconnected of what is the difference between a dopamine hit on technology and a dopamine hit in person with someone. And we've gotten so far away from our bodies remembering what it feels like to share space with strangers and organically just walk up to someone and compliment them, or walk up and just start a conversation and see where it goes. That it's like the bodies are not remembering those core imprints that were once made. And I will forever say, like, millennials had the best upbringing. I will fight to the core with it. But I'm just like, you know, like the core imprints that I have, I can remember those. I feel almost more sad for the folks that are younger than me that have only grew up on computer screens.
And you know what? It's so interesting that you say that, because I feel like it is the generation before us and the generations after us that kind of clung to the technology because they didn't, that's either all they know or they didn't have that at all. So once it was available to them, they kind of clung. Like Fuller's mom was telling me, like, she doesn't understand how me and his cousin like have all these hobbies and we like crocheting and all these things. She was like, I always just end up on my iPad, and I'm like, that's so sad. That's so sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think too, especially after the pandemic, because everyone was very secluded, and especially the younger generation who is now stepping into adulthood, especially for those high schoolers at the time that are now stepping into adulthood and then not being able to talk to each other. There's my husband has told me plenty of times of like guys who are like in their department and stuff who are dating, and or sometimes they'll be out and they're like, hey, like, why don't you go talk to that girl? And he's like, no, like, it's just it's so hard for them to work up the courage to actually start a conversation. But also, how many girls in that era are also like, you know, they get the ick easily, like, this creep is coming to talk to me, you know, which also I feel like discourages people from actually encountering and having that connection or, you know, starting a conversation, whether it's, you know, if it goes well or not, you know, it's just like there's that fear.
And I think too, like, that's right, like highlighting like how technology has influenced the dating world. You hear men say, and again, them practicing vulnerability in that moment when I am having conversations with them of like, I don't want to go viral because I did something wrong on a date and I was being recorded. And I'm just like, dang, are women out here recording dates? But then I see it. I'll like see like that she has her phone and like I see everything that was ordered, and I'm like, that has to be a turn off on the other end as well, right? Regardless of who it is.
I'm like, unless, and even if your job is social media, you disclose that. Again, communication,
for
right?
sure.
You disclose that. Hey, my job is social media. I know we're going to go have a date. Like, I want you to know I'm going to be focused on the date, but unfortunately I do have to get some content, so my phone will be out on the table. It's not about you, you know, like, because then, that the other person, a date is a vulnerable thing, not just, I feel like, because it's such a fine line. I do not want to alienate any women, but it's such a fine line because we tend to think of the world as black or white, right? Like, and it's either it's this or it's that. And it's like, yes, we have been victimized a million times. It makes sense. But also we're coming in with a victim mentality to some situations and adding an extra layer of something that doesn't, like, we don't communicate the same way to them that we expect them to communicate for us. So we're putting it, so it's expectations for them to meet, but then we're not meeting those either. So then whenever we get into the relationships, that's when you realize, oh, you're the toxica. Because you were always setting, you're like, the guys aren't meeting, they're not treating me right, they're not treating me. Okay, well, how are you handling on the flip side as well? Because that also says a lot about you. So I'm like, like, I understand guys don't need to, they can be creeps, and obviously, like,
for sure.
I'm a part of it too. I feel like is just in general culture, we kind of tend to tell the guys like if they act a certain way that they're going to be seen as inferior, less masculine and things. So if they do approach it from a kind standpoint, they're afraid of being rejected. But if they do approach it from a more confident, then there can be a creep. And I'm like,
Yeah.
But you also gotta try.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Exactly.
gotta try.
Yeah.
You gotta try and you gotta fail. There's gonna be bitches out there.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's a reflection on her, not
Right.
you. As long as you're not being a creep,
Yeah.
why are you concerned about that? You know?
And I think that speaks to like where dating in 2025, like you have to have really great confidence already, like how you're navigating the world. And I feel like as a single woman, I have a lot of confidence. I'm used to taking up space. I walk into spaces, I demand it. But so then that also translates into my vulnerability. Right. So like when I see a man, I'm not necessarily afraid to give him a compliment or approach, and knowing because of where I'm at, I'm like, I'm good even if this doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. And I feel like, I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point, but like the importance of therapy or the importance of getting a coach, right? And having someone really empower you to, okay, let's link that back to some things that have maybe happened in your life that are, you know, making you feel like you're less than. Yes. Let's work through that. That way you show up more confident in spaces. Yes. And then even that confidence turns into sometimes for women, like the approachability. Yes. Like, I'm feeling good. I look good today. You know, I love this color on me. This is my favorite lipstick, whatever it is. Yeah. And then other people seeing your high energy vibrations and your smile. And they're like, dang, who is that woman? Yeah. I just want to get to know her regardless if it goes anywhere, right?
I know.
So, so many different components of like what is making dating so hard today.
And it's crazy because, I mean, it's been over a decade for me since I was last single, and I think that was really when the rise of dating apps started. Like Tinder, like I used Tinder before I had met my husband, and ironically enough, I did not meet him on Tinder. I met him in a real life bar, and everything. He approached me, but it's crazy how there's so many like so much ghosting happening as well on dating apps, or even like if you do switch over to texting and it seems like it's going well, and then all of a sudden it's like you know, the ghosting. And I feel like that also causes a lot of it's a blow to the confidence for both men and women, you know.
100%.
And you would think that, hey, like, we're grown, just say what you mean, you know, get to the point. If you are not feeling it, just let me know. But I think we're still in that like, I just don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or you just simply don't care, and then it's just like ghost, you know.
Honestly, saying the wrong thing is better than not saying anything at all. But I mean, don't be a, you know, like, the world's not black and white. Take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, exactly. But if you're like, you're a fat bitch and I don't want to date you, like, that is the wrong response, you know. But like, obviously, but I mean,
I think it goes back to then the communication. Yes. So like, even when I'm working with couples, I already know the main problem it's that they're presenting with. They're identifying all these other things. Communication. I love all these other sprinkles. It's communication. Same thing with folks when in the dating world. Yes. It's like you said, like, be transparent. But being transparent for people is really difficult. You know, depending on whatever that childhood experience was like, what were the family dynamics. How have they, you know, been raised with their communication style. And I do think because of technology, it's just like, well, I'll wait for the next one. Yeah. Like, there's this surplus. So we were kind of talking about earlier. And like, y'all, I have literally looked at like my single guy friends and their swiping. And I'm like,
it's like they're playing a game.
It is. It's a full video game. And then I'm like, you have like 8, 9s, and 10s across the board. I was like, would you love to see what I have on my end of like, and like these 8, 9, like these women in general, not only just like the physical appearance, right? Yeah. But then also I'm like, I can only imagine the success that aligns behind, and I don't even know her story yet. Yeah. And so I do feel like like going back to that ghosting where it's like, well, if a guy doesn't really feel her, then he's just on to the next one because it takes less than 2 minutes to get the dopamine hit. Oh, I matched with her. I'm just going to entertain this one now, you know?
It's also, I feel like this kind of goes a little bit into the male loneliness epidemic, but it's kind of giving, you just don't want to put in the effort. Right. It's more work than it used to be. Yeah. So now you want to try to find something that's less work. However, you can have it fast, you can have it cheap, you can have it easy, you know?
Pick your poison.
Pick your poison.
Which one?
Pick your poison. And not only that, but it's like, the expectation that they are raised with culturally out of marriage and what it's supposed to be for them. It's really, I'm like, you could be with someone whose personality you genuinely enjoyed, who is also beautiful, who has all of these things. Like, you're gonna have to work a little hard to find that. You're gonna have to put in a little bit of effort. But they're like, women expect X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, yes, and they do. Okay, so let's talk about what you expect. What do you expect? Do you expect her to stay looking thin and hot and all of these things? Okay, great. So we'll put that on your scale. This is what's on hers. How does that not, you know? Why is what you want more important? Oh, because what you want's more important than what she wants. Exactly. Got it. Okay. You know, like, it's like, yes, she can have a list of things. She doesn't want too many things. She's just knows how she would like to spend the rest of her life. And that's a good thing. You should do the same, my man. Sit down. Ask yourself, like, how do you see that? How do you want your Sundays to be? Do you really want to be the guy that makes I hate my wife jokes? Do you really, you know, like, is that really what you want for your future?
No, for real. Oh my gosh. I saw something the other day that was like, men should be so grateful that we can't see their penis size, like the same way you can see a woman's breast size, and the way that men score us immediately just on a physical appearance as well. And I literally was like,
no tea.
If that happened,
no tea.
Right.
Because
like,
these
how
fours,
many men?
These fucking fours.
How many men would be immediately? You wouldn't even be
exactly.
You would have your you would not even exist.
No, it would be the same thing. Mira la fea right there. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, my man, you don't even got concealer on. I can see that you were out playing Call of Duty all night. You think I want to do anything with you? Like,
right.
It's giving finger blessing, and I'm not here for it.
No, at all.
I said what I said.
Yes, and I love it.
Now, do you think because of the rise with social media and AI and everything that it correlates with the rise of situationships, you know, because we see that the connection, you know, obviously being lost, and now people are not wanting to be vulnerable to actually be in like labeled relationships, I guess, like actually being, you know, partners. Instead they're like, I want the benefits, but I don't want the label. Right? So do you think that kind of correlates with social media?
I think yes. But then also what you were talking about in regards to like not wanting to put the work in. Yeah. A situationship, I think in a healthy way, right, could be defined as like two people that have agreed, like these are the boundaries, these are what we're experiencing together. Yeah. But that's it, right? Yeah. A healthy one where communication is at the forefront.
Right.
But then I think over time, regardless if we had a bunch of men in the room, bunch of women, and like very binary there as well, right? But like, I think over time in that situationship, as it continue to, I would assume that there's an exchange of sexual energy happening, that emotions are going to start to develop at some point. And then that's where like the feelings come in, right? Yeah. And then like the boundaries start to become blurred, or they feel blurred for one or maybe both. But then it's like, well, we're just in a situationship. Yeah. Like you're wanting more, right? And usually I feel like it is the woman that wants more, and it's the man that's like, we didn't sign up for that.
I will say though, and maybe this is like the women that I'm getting fed on my social media, which would make sense for my algorithm. Yeah. But it feels like there's a lot of women now that are choosing to be in situationships because mejor sola que mal acompañada. Yeah. I would rather just have someone that I can hang out with sometime that's gonna somewhat meet the deed as far as it needs, but that I don't have to clean up after, that I don't have to, because what is he bringing into my life? It feels like so many women now are like, you know what? Let's do this the way you want to do this. Because I don't want a boyfriend either. You don't want a girl? That's cool. Right. I don't want your crusty ass either, my man. You look like you can't clean up your socks. Like,
oh, but then I'm like, sis, why are we sharing sexual energy with someone whose socks are dirty? You know what I mean?
Like, why are you sharing sexual energy with someone who could be your child? Like, girl.
That's my thing, right? Girl. So no, but I do think, and I have caught that like wave of the algorithm too, right? Where, but I feel like when I hear women that are very like firm with like, I'm in a situationship, those are women that know And they are the ones that
Yes.
are implementing like the
Yes.
firmest boundaries. Like those
Yes.
boundaries do not sway.
Yeah.
They are very upfront. And that man knows exactly how he is situated in her life.
Let him know, girl.
And so with
Let him
that,
know.
like again, I love it. Healthy, do you, sis,
Yeah.
you know? And if that works for you, I
Yeah.
love that. But I do think, right, influence of technology. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you see your algorithm is all these different situationships and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go out and try that.
Yeah.
And it's either gonna land for you or, you know, you're gonna have to make your own little, oh, that did not work and let me pivot this way,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, but I think women are definitely, I think we are realizing how valuable our piece is for the
Yeah.
first time in all of our generations of women that have come before us. And that piece is, I think, the strongest, the most expensive form of currency that we
absolutely.
have.
Well, when you're also a working woman,
Absolutely.
you're providing the salary, you're
Right.
providing, you have the roof over your head, you have
Yeah.
the this. What you're looking for in a provider is no longer financial provision. You're looking for, not provision, that was the wrong word. We'll skip past that. What you're looking for is someone who is going to support you emotionally, someone who's going to support you in joy, someone who is going to provide you with fun, because at that point you're like, I
already have
need
everything.
peace.
Yeah.
What I need is peace. What I need is good dick. What I need
Exactly.
is, you know, like, if you want to add extra money to my purse, that's cool
please.
too. Please. But like, I am
Right.
providing, and
Yeah.
so men are like, you mean I have to provide emotionally? Like, I can't just, if I don't bring, but I have money.
Yeah.
Okay, ¿y qué más?
What else? Yep.
What
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
It's like, what do you bring to the table? Like, I am the table.
I
The
am
whole
the goddamn
table.
table.
Right.
Pull up your own fucking chair.
Yeah.
Are you gonna whittle it? Do you have money to buy your chair? Like, what are you gonna, you know? Because if you gotta whittle it, that's fine, as long as you won't put in that effort. If you're gonna be a scrub, be a hardworking scrub.
right.
No, but I do think these gender roles have changed so much.
so much.
We've gone through such
Yeah.
a different evolution,
Yeah.
and men, because we're still living in such a patriarchal society,
Yep.
are having a really hard time.
They are.
Because they're not encouraged to have mental health and go to
Right.
therapy, as you were
Right.
saying, and they're therapies for people who are crazy. It's not, dude, it's just to be able to work through certain kinks so that you can continue to do things, like you can work through your feelings at the gym still, you know, like no one's telling you can't, but just get shit out of your chest for a second so that you can hear your own thoughts out loud and be able to see, like, oh, this is kind of how I'm playing myself. How can I do more for me? And then that will also reflect in my relationships as well.
Right. And I feel, you know, on the opposite of that, like men also saying like, oh, like women, y'all just like hate men now. And it's like, no. Not that, but like the decentering is real. The decentering of like the patriarchal narrative that like used to control women's lives of like, oh, you didn't have a baby by this time, you're not a woman. Oh, you haven't got this far in your career or education, you're not doing good. Oh, you know, you had multiple partners, you were only supposed to sleep with one person your whole life. Like all of those toxic, violent forms of oppression, right, on against women. And it's like, so when we start to decenter, we're decentering all of that toxicity and replacing it with like, oh, well, I still can have a baby. Like women literally this last year had more babies after the age of 40 than teen pregnancy. Like
That's
it
crazy.
literally lapped. And
That's
I'm just like,
crazy.
it's so beautiful to see at the same time, right?
And you know what's been such a huge topic of conversation in the business world for the last few years, so much so that I saw it at every state of the industry event in the builder industry, okay? Birth rates. The decline of birth rates and women. They're not having sex with the men. They won't have babies. These fucking feminists. And it's like, no, dude, we want to have a family on our own time. On our own terms.
And with men who genuinely want to be a father.
God.
No, and so many men, I talk to so many men who get wrapped up in the same way the little girl mentality gets wrapped up in the Disney fairy tale or whatever you were watching.
You want to have a kid. You want to have a kid.
You're going to get married. You're going to have kids. And like little boys are told the same thing. And I'll talk to men and I'm like, do you really want that? Or I will ask them like on dates, tell me everything that you want to accomplish in life.
Oh,
Girl, they start saying all these things, right? And
Of
then
course.
I'll say, who's going to watch the kids? and the silence of like they don't know what to say because they're looking at me as like, well, you're the I got my thing going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
you assumed I was a caregiver?
But then it's also a beautiful like reminder, like I'll say, like, you get to choose that too. Like, I am very uncertain whether I will have children, but I know that if I meet a man who genuinely wants to be a father, and I feel that there's a partnership, there's he has thought this out. He has not got sucked in to the very traditional, you know, script of what we were told. This is what you do. You get married, you have a kid. No.
Because you know what? I will say I hate it. There are a few dads in adjacent friend groups, I will say, who wanted to be the stay-at-home dad, developed different substance abuse issues while they were taking care of the kids because they no longer felt, because they actually weren't ready for what that role was going to look like. Right. They didn't fully know what that was going to be, and they don't actually know how to generate joy from this new circumstance. Yeah. So all of a sudden, they're having to deal with the societal pressure and the emotional and all the things, and they crumble like a fucking cookie. Yeah. They crumble, and they're two of them are in the path to divorce already started. Yeah. And it's so fucking sad. Yeah. Because she believed. Yeah. She genuinely believed that's what he wanted. Because he thought out of naivete that that's what he wanted too. Yeah. Not once actually considering what it fucking takes.
Yeah. And so I can't reiterate that enough for like anyone that's listening to our episode. Think it through. Like give yourself time. You are on your own, you know, time clock of when things happen, and when you meet your person or persons, however that's showing up for you. Yeah. Gosh, having those questions of like,
and that's on Polly. Go
literally, on. Yes, on Polly, absolutely. And I'm just like, even the powerful question of like, what is one thing that like you love that your parents did, and like sit in that, right? Or whoever took care of you, guardians, whatever. And then the opposite of like, what are things that you absolutely like? If hate is the identifying word, and put that, if there's things that you don't ever want to pass on that your parents did, you know, name that. But like having those conversations will tell you real quick too where someone is at with their ability to personally reflect deep.
You know what I was told by my therapist whenever I first kind of started being like, I don't know who I am, therefore I don't know what I want, and I'm terrified. And I was already in a relationship with Fuller, so that was a whole different that was a whole different layer to unpack at the time too. But she asked me, how do you picture your Saturday mornings? Genuinely in your perfect world. How do you see your Saturday mornings? How do you see your Sunday mornings? Find the person that matches.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much.
How do you envision the rest of your life going? Like, what would you like to do?
I love that so much.
And I was like,
go ahead, therapist.
I don't. What do I want to do on that, you know? Yeah. It's a beautiful question. We don't take time. We just think we're going to get married. We're going to have kids. We're going to check this box. We're going to check that box. We are not paperwork. We are not.
Right.
Yeah. That's such a great way to put it, that we're not paperwork. I have a friend who tells me, because I also live vicariously through their single life, and they tell me that, you know, when they go when she goes on dates with these guys, you know, like she pretty much lays it out on the table too, like, hey, if I have kids in the future, like, I'm still gonna be working, like, I plan to have like my mom as you know, help me caretake and everything, and like, and half of the time, like, these guys are so dumbfounded the same way, just like, oh, like, you know, what do you mean, like, you're not gonna be at home? And it's just like, no, I have to work too, like, you know. And I do love that, because I feel like, one, it's like weeding them out. Yeah. You know, 100%. Just like, don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. If I'm already so set in like, hey, this is how I see my future, and it's like, either, you know, like, if you feel like you can match that, like, great. But if you feel like that is not in the cards for you, don't waste my time.
And I also feel like those same men that you are literally, like, that she's been on date with, those are the same men that are looking for a mom.
Yep.
Yes.
For their person.
Yes.
Yep. They don't want truly an ambitious, like, a woman who is just her.
Yeah.
And that she does what she wants, and she, you know, whatever, all those characters. They want a mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I love that she's asking those intentional questions, because I'm like, they'll let you know real quick.
Yeah.
You just have to be in a space of whether you're listening
Yeah.
to receive the information.
Yes.
And be like, yeah, he hasn't thought this through, besides this is what my mom did for me, and that's what I expect my person to do as well.
And they don't realize too that, you know, they are searching for their moms, because they're like, oh yeah, my mom did this for my dad. She showed up. She was this, that. Was your mom happy? Was your mom happy? What's their marriage looking like?
And
right
also,
now?
I'm like,
Literally.
why are those same women the one that when I talk to them, they're like, you're single? Stay single. They're like, don't do it. They're like, don't get married. Don't have kids. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. No, but truly, they are. The amount of times that I told someone I was getting married and they went, I was like, girl.
Right. You're not
Don't scare me.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
scare me.
But to be fair, most of those women were from a very specific part in society. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so I was
Okay.
like, no, heteronormativity not working for you.
Gotcha.
Patriarchy sucking ass. Yeah, that adds up.
That's so real.
You mean to tell me you weren't happy with a man-child that you married? Like,
right.
it's a crazy concept. You don't want to fuck the man that you constantly have to clean up after like he's your child? Wild.
Right.
Who could have known that would dry up?
I love, both of my sisters are married, and I remember one time I was talking to one of them, and I could hear my brother-in-law like asking, like, where's the da 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 da, you know, and she's just like, oh my gosh, you know, she yells back, use your eyes. Use your eyes.
Like he's a fucking kindergartner?
Use your eyes.
No mames.
She's like, they're right where I always leave them. Use your eyes. And then he's like, found it. And I was like, girl, I can't do it. I can't.
So we nipped that shit in the bud real fucking quick.
Because I would use your eyes.
Yeah, I'm like, let me give some advice for the single girl he's dating. Let me just because listen, Linda, I love Fuller and he has grown into a man, okay? We were not there when we first started. Okay, the intention was there. The goods, the good intention was there. He wanted to be that man. Society and his mama did him an injustice, you know. And so that was the thing. It was always like, and hey, where did I? And I'd be like, listen, I am perfectly happy helping you problem solve, helping you do something.
Absolutely.
But I swear to God, if you ask me before you so much as fucking try. Fist to the throat. Okay? And how do I boil a potato? You know what? God invented Google for a fucking reason.
And YouTube and TikTok.
And TikTok and everything. And you know what's crazy is I had to figure this shit out on my own. So how about you attempt to do it on your own, and when you fuck it up, I help you. We grow, and then the next time you attempt again, you might fuck it up less, and we continue to go from there. Oh no, you want me to back into your mouth? No mames.
No,
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So it took a couple years, but eventually, you know, because my response was the same. It really was, and he didn't get again. He has to not be enough of a dick to actually have his head out of his anus and be able to be like, bro, yeah, I get it. This is an area where I can whatever. And so he did. He was like, you know what? I get the frustration. I understand. He's like, I do wish and I'm like, I get it. You want to have your problems solved easily. Don't we fucking all?
Yeah.
Exactly. But do you understand the mental labor that I am now having to do extra because you wanted your life easier?
Yep.
No mames.
Right.
Yeah.
We are either both making each other's lives easier or we're not doing this at all.
Right.
So again, if you need genuine assistance, I am happy to provide that.
Got you.
Yeah.
But you better not pretend that you are an incompetent nothing because you're a grown-ass man who can indeed use his two eyes, move boxes, and find the fucking lentils.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Lentils.
Get out of here. Like,
Lentils.
no mames.
And I feel like, you know, especially for us, and specifically we met our partners in our 20s that, you know, we're all still growing, you know,
absolutely.
There's a little bit of like, I feel grace in that because, you know, we're still both trying to grow, whether it's separate or together. But I feel like specifically being in your 30s, like, okay, you've been an adult for quite a bit of time. You should take responsibility for whatever trauma, like go to therapy, do the work, take some accountability.
Honestly,
take some accountability.
The advice I just gave was for the 20-somethings because if he's 30-something and still being like, oh, I can't,
you wouldn't even have time.
You wouldn't even have time. No, because nobody has time to raise somebody else's crusty ass son. Okay, nobody has time to raise somebody else's crusty ass son. Raise yourself, grow the fuck up, and that's that. Maybe then feminism won't be so hard on you. That's just me.
Preach. Now, going back to the whole like lonely male epidemic, I feel like, especially, you know, we have a podcast. We specifically talk a lot of topics, but the red pill content that has been out there and circulating, and I feel like unfortunately it has been grabbing a lot of these young men and even some of males who are already in marriages too, and I feel like it reverts them back.
Can you elaborate for listeners who don't know the concept of the red pill? What that is?
So like the red pill content, I mean, I don't personally listen to it, but I see it often on TikTok of, you know, these guys on podcasts just like the traditional gender norms, like why is it that women, you know, do this, or they don't want husbands anymore, and feminism, and just like
pushing traditional
gender roles again, like shoving it down their throats and being like, you know, and I get it, having to you're trying to give the men confidence, which they all deserve, you know, to be confident, but also like I'm trying to find the right words. It's like you're pushing forward the patriarchal like agenda.
Yeah. It's like pushing down someone in order to push yourself back up.
Exactly.
It's unnecessary.
It's
you
like not without taking accountability of what you guys have already set the system to be. You're failing yourselves at this point, but you're just shoving it down other guys' throats to validate that you don't need to change. They need to change.
The system isn't wrong.
Exactly. It's them that have to change. They're ungrateful. They, you know.
You know, I recently saw a video, actually. I mean, I quickly swiped through it because I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
your play is... oh, no, a white man crying on my feet. So but it was literally a guy saying that, like, he was like, you go to these groups because you want to learn how to socialize and you want to learn how to communicate, and all of a sudden you start getting fed this rhetoric, these ideas of this is why you can't. It's not on you. You don't have to take responsibility for your actions or for the lack of information that life gave you and learn to grow. They are responsible for this, and they slowly but surely they start being like, maybe they are right. Maybe, and they find one or two seeds of truth and ground themselves on that and sprout lies from there. And so these guys that were originally good guys in the non-cringy sense, like all of a sudden they're now like, fuck these bitches, you know? Because after a while, surely people think, how can anybody believe that? Psychologically, if you get told the same thing over and
it's
over,
like playing the victim mentality.
Claro, it taps into a certain, like, I want to say ethos, but I'm probably misspeaking. But it taps into a certain emotion, a certain something in there that you're like, oh, this makes sense. Right. This is what it is, and so they kind of get wrapped and sucked into it. I mean, there are some betas that naturally go out there seeking for that in women content, but there are so many men that don't. They don't know better, and then they get sucked into that by their own peers.
Yes. Yeah. One of my cousins, like, I remember, because he did at one point was watching a lot of like Andrew Tate and stuff like that, and I would literally just be like, shut the fuck up. Just stop it.
Look at me.
Look at me. Do yourself a favor. Yeah. I'm like, do yourself a favor. Please stop.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because over time, obviously, I think he is slowly realizing, because this is like, what, fresh out of high school, that he was being fed this content. And now that he's a little bit more in his 20s, he's like, all right, like, I was a dick, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're not going to convince any girl to be with you acting like that.
I will say, it's fascinating to me how men that look like they grow pubes on their fucking face are the ones that the guys would be like, yeah, that guy knows what he's talking about. That man is a Q-tip with pubes on his face. What are you talking about? Why would you trust that man? Have you seen him?
Yeah.
God, that's a face only a mama could love. Jesus. Anyway, so boundaries.
Boundaries. Yeah. So, what are some boundaries that one can implement for themselves when it comes to the dating world, especially how it is now?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that's a very loaded question, right?
Yes.
Because it's like, has this person even examined like boundaries that they need at work?
Yeah.
Boundaries they need with a roommate.
Yeah.
Boundaries they need with family, right? Versus like jumping all the way into the dating scene.
Ain't that so interesting?
Yeah.
It all ties together.
Boundaries with everything, right? Because if you're a person, because I'm going to tell you, people that are successful with their boundaries, they have navigated being the bad person.
Yes.
So I think about our family. You are told that the family members that you have are supposed to love you the most. But then ironically, those are the people that usually perpetrate the most violence against you because they know you very well. And so when you can get through implementing boundaries needed within your family dynamic and be labeled the bad person because you're actually coming in with a boundary and you are upholding it and you're causing the discomfort of others of having to honor that, right? That's a whole different healed, somewhat, I don't like to say everyone's healed, right?
It's a healing,
it's a healing, that is a healed person who then can go into the dating world and be like, oh, no. I've navigated my whole family. What do you mean, right? Like, this is a cakewalk. And so I say that, right? Like, so if you're a person that needs that work with boundaries, like, great place to start with self and examining all the different systems you occupy and where can you use more boundaries. But when I think about dating, I think, again, going back to that self-confidence, right? And, like, what do you tie to your worth? And I think women get very uncomfortable with even what you're like, the red pill content is completely objectifying a woman. Like, that is what it is. It is making a woman an object. She is no longer a human. And I always tell,
we're not equal.
Yes, I always tell my students, the moment we can objectify a human being, that is the moment we can perpetrate violence against them because we no longer see them as a human. That's what red pill content is for women, right? And so when I then ask women, and I do this work in the therapeutic space, how much are you worth? And they're like, what do you mean? You want me to give you $1? I want you to give me $1 amount. And what I'm wanting as their therapist is for them to tell me I'm worth $1 billion.
Right.
But women don't walk in with that.
There is no price on me. There is no limit. Like,
and if there is a price, I want the price to be so expensive. Right? And usually it's like, okay, well, like,
homegirl just ends up
$100,000.
giving you, that's an hourly rate. Bitch, that's an hourly rate.
But, you know, so starting first, like, what is your worth? Like, what do you do truly see yourself, right? And then also, I think taking it like a step further of like, where will you accept your first dates? Like, there is women that are like, they are the makeup queens. And I know that their products are very expensive. They do not accept a coffee date. They're like, why am I going to put on a full face and get on an outfit and stuff like this and
that's
spend
a $35 beat.
Exactly.
Right there.
If that, right? And
not
like,
accounting for the time.
I'm not taking an $8 matcha. Like, I'm just not doing that. And they're like, I'm going to go spend time with my homegirls. For that and be all dressed up to the nines and do what I need to do, right? So boundaries, and even that, I think boundaries in a sense of like, what is your communication style, right? Are you looking for a pen pal? Or are you looking for a partner, a man who's going to be like, hey, can we now exchange numbers in a respectful way, right? I know when we have to do like a FaceTime, I need to know that you are the real person. Of like, this is what I've been presented. If I'm navigating,
so smart.
I'm not showing up blind. We're not doing any blind, you know, reveals.
I've seen catfish.
Yes, right. Yes. We all grew up on it. And so that's a hard boundary. Yeah. I think too, if we're going to get into this like very weird complex of like, bring back masculinity, but bring back the healthy traits, not the toxic traits of it. Okay, so then what does that mean? Are you going to let him pay for it first? Is that your expectation? Or are you going to communicate out that you feel more comfortable doing 50-50? Yeah. If that is a boundary for you, we can honor that.
Yeah, I do see so many people that are like, well, you just kind of wait and see what they... And I'm like, you can't. But I'm like, honestly, personally, for me, I was always, or I wasn't always, but right before we started dating, it was one of those like, okay, like if I did have a great time, like I'm happy to pay for half of this, like please let's do it. And if I didn't have a great time, I would insist on paying. I'm paying for my part, because expectations are uncommunicated and there, and so men are so transactional, and it's, well, if I paid for this and I have to receive that, and it's like, if that's how you're gonna view the entire relationship, that's already an issue. Absolutely. The way that we handle payment on this first date tells me a lot about how we're gonna, because it should be I enjoyed this, I wanna pay for it, right? And like, and if you want to be the guy that wants me to pay for it sometimes too, why the fuck can you not say that? You know, like, maybe sometime you can treat me to something nice too, but I will always treat you to something nice. And then you don't sound like a broke ass boy, but you are still letting me know, like I'm happy to treat you to nice things, but I would love for you to treat me sometime too. Like,
I'm a huge advocate. Like, let me slip my man out for a night and like wine and dine him.
Treat him like a king.
And take, all of that, right? But also, again, my boundary, expectations, all of that. Yeah. I think another boundary that we don't discuss enough is around like safety and dating, right? Especially as women. And so thinking about giving a lot more space of like how is safety showing up for you as you are navigating dating. And then also like boundaries around, I think we've all had the homegirl that like met a guy, and then like at 2 weeks she's like, I think he's the one, and then at like 3 weeks she's like, we're moving in, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is going
have you been looking into our group chat?
I know. I was like, do you know my friend?
No, Lily and I both looked up at each other. We were like,
I felt the energy right here when I said it.
We know a person.
But she's gonna call us afterwards and be like, you did that shit on purpose.
No. This is all me, because there's always a homegirl. There's always a homegirl. But
there's always a homegirl.
A healthy relationship, we want the slow burn. We don't want fast. We don't know someone. Yeah. In their first 90 days, we heck sure don't know someone. Even after a year, like you're still learning the things about your man and your and your man. Like,
I mean, there's a certain level of like fast burn that it makes sense, and then there's a certain level of fast burn that's like, baby, this is giving manic episode.
Right.
Like, there's, because I'm like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, okay, maybe you do start spending a lot of time over at their place and all of these things. By 3 months, you're spending almost every night at their spot or whatever, and you've got a drawer, but it's just a drawer. Yeah. It's just, like, you still are paying for rent in your other place.
Girl,
What's the point of paying rent at my other place? No. Your fucking independence. What do you mean, what's the point? Convenience should not be the thing that ties you to another human being.
Yes.
Coño.
Yes. Literally. And I feel like as women, we get, even when you started, right? You said like women are feeling like we're having to settle. Yeah. That when we find what we deem a good quality man,
he's
and
good
then
enough.
all of a sudden we start seeing the many red flags, and we're like, oh, okay, we'll just ignore those. But we start to feel the pressure of like, well, I've spent 3 months with this person, and like I'm gonna just lock it in.
Yeah.
No. Girl, do not be in a rush. Like, try. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know, but like the boundary of giving yourself time, giving your body time, and being able to reflect like, how do I personally feel? How does my body feel when I'm with this person? How do I leave feeling? Right?
I feel like checking in with your body and yourself takes away that knowledge, takes away that step of, do I like that person, or do I like the thought of that person, the thought of being wanted, and how being wanted makes me feel, not necessarily how their actions towards me make me feel.
I literally just texted a man that the other day. I was like, you say you miss me, you miss the idea of me.
Oof.
Like,
he was not ready for that.
Yeah, literally the text quietly like has died out, right? Which is fine. But I was like, but I'm gonna speak like what I know, and like this is the truth, right?
Or
at
least what you feel, and then that gives gives him the opportunity to be like, I can see why you think that, but here's X, Y, and Z, and that's why not, you know? But if he's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm out, then
I love it.
We love
Cross
it when
off the list.
Yes,
Cross it off the roster.
And I feel like, I don't know if this is common, especially with like neurodivergent people, that, you know, you get that dopamine of like, you know, you meet someone new, it's exciting, and you know how like sometimes like, you know, we do become hyper fixated on that one thing or person, and then it's just like all of a sudden like everything's moving so fast and furious, and because of that dopamine, but then you get that crash, you know, that I think a lot of neurodivergent people hit, and then it's like, well, fuck, like I've made it this far, like you know, what do I do? And then most people, I feel like they just they stick it out
because you think you've made a decision, so now it's a lifelong choice.
Yes.
And I think that goes back to too, and I say like also like neurodivergent or not, right? I think that's like just maybe the body experience as well, but also I think why women, like I think there's this like, gosh, like we get frustrated with men that can juggle multiple women. But as a woman who is in her season of dating, right, I now, I've been understanding, but like I understand the importance of having not all of my eggs in one basket. I date multiple. Does it get overwhelming? Absolutely. I'm like, what does John do again? Let me look through my notes, you know, and like I have to take notes, right, and make sure. But like I think that's also where that comes from, of like, well, now I have to lock in. I have to keep moving forward because I put all of my eggs in one basket. And it's like, no, sis, I need you to keep those eggs and spread them out, and then also keep some for you.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
I love that.
I do love that. But I think that also speaks to how we've been taught about the purpose of dating.
Oh, for sure.
And this is something that I recently told my nephew too, because he was like, you know, TT, because with my ADHD, I forget. I forget to I was dating this girl, but I just forget to message her back, and always this, and so it just doesn't even matter because like I'm so young anyway. I'm not even trying to get married. So like, what's it? And I was like, baby, dating doesn't have to be about getting married.
Right.
If marriage is what you want, then that's an amazing thing. But even if marriage is what you want, you can still want eventually marriage, but still be in your season of right now, I'm just trying to discover my likes and my dislikes. If I happen to find someone within that time, cool, dope as shit, whatever, hope I don't, so that I can actually get to experience this time. I didn't. Me speaking from personal experience. I didn't. Met the fucker after 3 dates. It was fine. But like, you're like, this is the time for me to really find out what fits with me. Instead of going into this date and being like, gosh, I really hope they like me, which you can want to connect with someone, right? But at the end of the day, remind yourself that the top priority is not just, I hope we click, I hope they like me, but I hope that they will be able to fit into what I am looking for.
Right.
Because you need to be centered first and foremost. You can still have a fun time and them not fit into that. And then it was a great date. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Next. You know, pero like, it doesn't have to be for more than that. Just spend some time finding out what you like, what you don't like, what you do want, because sometimes you don't know until you try. Sometimes you just don't, and that's okay. As long as you're communicating that to the people that you're dating. You're not misleading anyone. You're not what they take with that. If they end up getting misled, if their feelings end up confused, that is a thing to handle later on. That's on them. Y'all can talk through that. But your feelings, your wants matter so much. Figure that out first.
Exactly. And that, I think that ties directly like with the boundaries, right? Of like, what do I like? So then I can vocalize them out.
And then that ties us back into that everyone needs to go to therapy.
So that's the
bottom line.
Bottom line. Go to therapy.
Thank you for coming on TED Talk. Go to therapy.
Now let's talk about pleasure. Because I feel like a lot of people obviously they date because I mean they're also
looking for pleasure.
But what for those people that are just like, you know what, I'm not in my season right now to emotionally, I'm not emotionally available, but I still deserve pleasure.
Absolutely.
I'm still working on myself. What are some tips or, you know, what do you think would be a good place to start for those people that are seeking that?
I love that so much. And I love that y'all are even thinking about pleasure, like through the dating experience. But, you know, a lot of the work that I do is with women who are trauma survivors. And so, or my postpartum mamas, right? Where there's been like this huge change with the body or something happened that was not consensual, right? That again happened to the body. So with that, one of the things that I love to do is my pleasure scavenger hunt worksheet with them. And so where we will start is like even defining pleasure as women, going back to multiple things that we've talked about today with like the societal scripts that are implanted. And then we're not even talking about cultural yet or like religion or education. Just societal. But like the first time we watched the Disney movie and we wanted to be the princess and we wanted to find our prince, right? So that script was embedded. Same thing with pleasure. It's usually taught to us that is only a vaginal penile form of pleasure, right? And it's a man, it's a woman, it's again very binary. And again, the woman's pleasure is not talked about, but we always know the man experiences some form of pleasure. So I will ask, what is our definition of pleasure? Like, what are we defining? Like, what are we starting at? What's the baseline in order to understand where her brain is at? And then I'll start with, or move into, you know, give me, what do you need in order to experience pleasure? For them to start thinking about, okay, well, where are the places that I have experienced pleasure? And what was that environment like for me? Again, because trauma survivors, there's a lot of reclaiming of what we want in the pleasure journey. And then, of course, ending it with what are 3 ways your body experiences pleasure. And usually they're very sexually driven. Well, then I give this worksheet that's like, what's your pleasure, or what's your connection with pleasure and nature? What's your connection with pleasure and smell? What's your connection with pleasure and a warm dryer full of towels coming out and you taking them? I just got goosebumps. Oh my gosh.
No.
I have to hold that thought because I have my frizzen going on now. I always like, and I tell in any presentation that I do, but I talk about, I'm like, if you are a person who can listen to a song and you get frizzen with the goosebumps all over your body, I'm like, that is your body experiencing a skin orgasm. And I always joke and say, I wish my clitoral orgasms lasted as long as my skin orgasms, but that's okay.
Or we're as quick, girl. Like,
right, because these last longer for me. So I'm like, yes. But I'm telling people, right, like now you know, I've given you this verbiage. And so the next time you're experiencing your goosebumps, that's your frizzen. And like sit in that moment of pleasure with your body and actually realize how long it lasts for you. Because we've expanded your understanding, right? So it's this front and back beautiful sheet that I've created, all these different areas, nothing sexual. And that's where when working with trauma survivors and postpartum mamas, I'm not looking to get reconnected to the womb. We need to take this off the table first, because more than likely this is where the traumas happened, right? And same thing when you are single and you're maybe not in your era yet to like be with other people, baby, I cannot think of a better time for you to focus on your pleasure and figuring out what works for you. What feels good, what doesn't, right? And when you are ready to start to feel some special connection, sacred connection, right? With your sacral chakra, your womb, all of it, then start to explore that area of yourself. I think even giving yourself time, like as I know my sex education in Nebraska was horrible. Horrible. It's relatively the same as Texas.
I was going to say it's no better in this state. It's no better in this state.
Abstinence only, fear-based, that's it, right? And I'm like, have you ever taken the time to like actually look at your vulva and like know what she looks like? And like women are like, what? No, you know? And I'm like, let's do that. Like there's so much power in knowing what your vulva looks like, because then
there's so much fear that women have to even look at their freaking junk. I'm like, baby, that's between your legs.
Right.
That's you. And that's a huge part of you. Why are we terrified?
Right. And I'll never forget when one mom came up to me and she said, I've had 3 children. And she was in tears. And she said, but after sitting through my workshop, right, she was like, everyone has seen my vulva besides me. And everyone was, right? Her doctors that helped deliver, the nurses, her husband. And I was like, oh, so again, going back to this pleasure script of like, what a sacred time for you as a single woman doing your thing, focusing on you, focus on the entire body then, right? Everything that your body deserves to experience, associated with pleasure. And then taking kind of, if there is this anxiety, right, around knowing that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 women, depending on the research, are trauma survivors of some form, right? And so giving yourself grace, connecting with your body in all these different ways, redefining your pleasure narrative for yourself. And then, of course, when you're ready to work in new toys and experience, am I a clitoral, you know, comer, or am I a G-spot, or am I another spot, you know, like whatever. But then starting to explore your body in that way too. That way, I just feel like, right? Like, when you're ready to get back out there then and share your sacred sexual energy, you're going to be able to vocalize, no, touch me here. Kiss me here, please. Actually, I experience more. I want to do sex in the mountains because I made this whole trip and I didn't realize how much pleasure I experience when I'm outside in nature. And that's what I want to do. You know, like you name that with your person.
That's so much vulnerability too, to be able to experience.
Oh my gosh,
and there's something about being able to share that level of vulnerability with someone that's just so exciting and so fun. It's so sad to me because it really does, something that you just said, we really do grow up thinking that our vulvas and our uteruses are not ours.
I know. At all.
We don't think they are not a part of us. They are not with us. They are something that's a machine, a tool to be used for us to give birth to children later, for us to give our partners pleasure. And that's the extent of it.
So far from it. Especially with our womb, holds so much sacred knowledge. It holds our area of creativity. So like if you are a person, when you are tapping as a, you know, uterus owner, like when you are having your creative moments, that is your womb lining up. Like your sacral chakra is like thriving.
So, and for me personally, I mean, I have a little bit of a different experience being non-binary, but I personally, I don't feel like I feel like it was a lottery of what I was born with down there, and that was like, it matched up, and that's fine. What's got to go is the stuff upstairs. And so like I do feel connected to my womb regardless of that, but I always knew that I never wanted to carry children myself. That was never a thing. So there was always a certain layer of, then what for? Then what for if that's not what it's for? And being able to reclaim that in the last few years and it being like, well, it's for me. It's for my pleasure. It's for my enjoyment. It's for my life. Like, that has been such a crazy mindset shift. And I'm literally like almost in tears thinking about it, because genuinely after spending such a long time not only feeling so disconnected from a certain part of me because and I didn't know why, but just disconnected from a certain part of me, but also to realize that it's okay that it was never for me going to be used for that purpose. It was just holding space inside of a physical being, and that's where I drive my energy from, and that's the purpose. That's it. That's all it has to be for, you know? So I really do think some of us just need to take the time to really ask ourselves, like, just because we have the tools on our hands, just because you're really great at drawing doesn't mean that you want to be an artist for life.
Exactly.
Same
and
thing
like
you got a uterus, you don't got to give birth.
And I just feel like, you know, like if you are a person who has a clitoris, like that is the one part on I could be binary, like the female body that is soul's purpose is for pleasure, and it breaks my heart every time when I do a presentation and I even ask them how many holes are down there, and they literally don't know how many holes are down there.
Isn't that crazy?
And then they don't even know that their clitoris even exists. They don't even know that this is literally the only purpose of it is for pleasure. And so you know, we in this space as powerful women, you creating space to talk about it, like we are changing the narrative, right, for the younger generation. And so even older too, like I've met women that are like, I'm so glad I met you, and I'm 58 and I just had my first orgasm, and I'm like, yes, bitch,
like, you deserve that orgasm,
and I want you to keep coming.
Let's get it, señor. Yes, señor. I love it. Have you listened to Señora Sex Ed?
No, I haven't, but I've heard, it's on my to-do.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, they've got some really
Good
interesting
stuff,
episodes. Locatora Radio put together their Señora Sex Ed, and it's older women, like, interviewing them about their sexual experience and what they thought versus where they are now and all of these things. It's crazy.
Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to
that. It's multi-generational. It's really cool. It's really cool.
I love that so much.
No, but I love that you work with, like, postpartum moms, too, because I feel like, especially after having a child, it's like so many things change, and you really aren't the same person.
I mean, you lose your sense of self.
You do, and especially for someone that wasn't fully into themselves yet and still trying to discover, it's like it's crazy. But learning pleasure all over again. But even when you are in a relationship and you're like, oh, I have to communicate these things now, like it's so scary, because you grew, I think a lot of us, especially coming from the 2000s, you grew up with the media, like how to pleasure a man, how to make him come, do all these things. And then also even with like porn, you see all these perfect vulvas, and and I think that's why a lot of people with uteruses or vulvas are afraid to look down there, because it's like it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that, so there must be something wrong.
I'm not
with
a hairless
me.
tight chicken. Therefore, girl, tell me that doesn't look like boiled chicken. Tell me they don't look like boiled chickens.
But it's just like, and again, it's setting that expectation to men too, that things are supposed to look a certain way, 100%. And if they don't look that way, they're damaged. They're not good.
We were just talking about this, about how often we notice that our girlfriends, even the ones that aren't on the Rainbow Mafia scale, do watch more lesbian porn than anything.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Because you watch guy-girl porn and you're like,
no, it's not real.
I know.
First of all,
she's hating every second of that.
Yeah, we should only be watching porn that is directed by feminist directors.
Oh my God,
period.
yes,
as straight women, and if you need like help with finding that, especially because like Texas, we have some like laws.
Oh God, that's a whole different thing.
But because regular everyday porn, right, is directed by I guarantee you, cis-het man. That's like, it's only for the male gaze, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I talk to women all the time when feminist porn or straight women being more attuned to gay porn as well, because there's more of this sensuality piece
again,
like,
because you can't fake guy on guy attraction like that,
right?
The same, I mean, and the same thing is the girl on girl, they might not be attracted in that regard, but the pleasure that they still feel at the forefront is still genuine. So it does take there's a certain level of honesty that is involved in queer sex, regardless of what kind it is, that you just don't get with heterosexual sex. It's very performative, which just goes along with everything else, and in every other aspect of your life, you're already being so performative. So in the bedroom too. Girl, no.
And we are not being performative in the bedroom.
No, like it's so sad because as women we grew up seeing like, oh, this is, you start and end with a blowjob. It's always about their pleasure. It's always about, and then guys go on real dates with women, and then they wonder why they're like, these feminists aren't doing anything. It's because that was never realistic. Right. It was always a give and take. It should have always been a nice but we've lost the recipe.
Literally, we've lost it.
We've lost the recipe, and I do think so much of our socio standings really affect it because we don't talk about porn because it's taboo. Then we let what I would say be the more unhinged, for lack of a better word, we let the more unhinged, because it's not something that's, I don't want to say regulated, but because it's not something that's common or talked about, then it's a place where depravity in its worst form can't expand. And we've kind of lightweight talked about this on different podcast episodes. So you only get the worst of the worst instead of, and your For You page, you always see someone getting essayed, and you're like, I just wanted to have a good time. How did it? Why am I getting trigger warning? Like, what's happening? You know. So if we were to be able to talk about our pleasure more in decenter just the male gaze right there, then it could be a better experience all around for everyone, because now we're all experiencing different types of pleasure.
Right.
But they're playing themselves. They're not opening themselves up for it. So here we are.
Another episode.
Another episode.
No, we'll have to do struggling with sensuality, like part 2.
Yeah,
for sure.
I literally earlier when we were like, I have to put a pin in that. I wrote down, because we have done an episode of sensuality, and it will sell season 4. Come back. We'll be revisiting season 1. This time with guests that actually know what the fuck they're talking about.
Not just our opinions.
Not just our unearned opinions. Very biased. It's fine. But yeah, genuinely going back and revisiting the sensuality, because we did talk about the sounds and how just being able to allow yourself to experience different levels of joy in a sensual way that didn't have to be inherently sexual.
Exactly.
And how that allows you to tap into more sexual energy in the long run.
100%.
They're not related, but they are.
Exactly.
They're intrinsically tied together. They're not the same thing, but they are intrinsically tied together so much.
They complement each other so beautifully.
They do.
Absolutely.
Really quickly though, before we kind of move on entirely out of this, you had brought up a Vogue article to us that was really funny. And we wanted to touch about it and talk about it. Not touch about it, girl. Well, now that we're talking about touch, I wanted to touch about it and get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, the boyfriend one.
Yes.
Why cool to have a boyfriend?
Embarrassing?
It's embarrassing and cringe to have a man. Tell us about it.
You know, one, I just love that it gained the traction that it did, right? And again, going back to our first thing about how technology, we do feel like it's kind of infringing on dating and taking away, but also the power of technology, of how quick this circulated. But I think it's just where we are at right now as being badass women in society, prioritizing what we need, decentering men, and however that's showing up for someone. Maybe they're only decentering halfway, maybe they're doing the whole thing, right? But we're seeing it in research coming out. Women are homeowners, single homeowners at faster rates than men are. We are more educated across all levels, right? We're all probably going to therapy way faster rates, right, than men. And so there is this whole men, and we are kind of talking about earlier, men feeling left behind in this sense, right? But again, women, we didn't have any extra steps ahead. The men were right there with us.
Exactly.
We just from going to therapy.
We just made different decisions. We just both made different decisions.
Who's keeping you from making the same choices I am?
That part. And knowing that we're still not getting paid per the dollar of a white man right now. But anyways, different episode. But I just love, because this article just so beautifully was now where women have evolved, right? We are fighting still for our rights every damn day, whether it's federal or it's state, okay?
Girl.
And even in that fight, we're still succeeding, okay? And I think it's because of literally communities just like this, where women, we can sit on one spot together. We can share positive energy where it's authentic. I know if y'all hit me up tomorrow, I got you. What do you need? What vibrator rests? What else? Anything. But low key, right? Because women right now, we are realizing, again, going back to the self-worth of I don't feel empty because I have so much love surrounding me. I pour into intentional communities that I know I can pick up a phone and say, hey, today's a hard day. Yeah. And then I hear, what do you need? Yeah. Do we need to do coffee? Do I just need you to come over? Do I just need you to be with me in silence? Oh, yeah. And I just need your energy with me, right?
You know what? That's the whole episode right there.
Literally.
Find girlfriends.
Yes. And
find community.
Right?
Find community.
Because, we are realizing, I think for the first time in our generation of lineage, right? Of rewriting this narrative. That we don't necessarily we don't feel fulfillment, and you were saying, well, is she happy? Was your mom happy? Probably not. Did she deserve so much more? Absolutely. But we have rewritten that for ourselves. We're not waiting till 60 to figure it out. We figured it out now. And if men are going to be a part of our life, it's because they're complementing it. They are adding to it, right? And it's that piece is at the forefront. You're not disrupting it. Yeah. You're using your eyes. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. But then so now it's you're in these spaces where it's 8 powerful women And then like the 9th woman walks up and you're like, why is your boyfriend here? Like that's like the vibe.
Girl,
like,
yes.
like, ew, what is that? Like why?
Honestly,
Why'd you bring him? Like,
I've seen gay men online be like, why would I bring a man into this apartment? Have you seen my home?
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, with his crusty socks, like next to my lamp. What am I?
Right.
Like.
But that's where I just think we're at. Like again, it was. I think the author wrote it as like from the heart, from probably current, just everything. She's even succeeded, and again, the intentional community she's built around her, where she feels so much genuine love from her homegirl. She's like, I'm not in a love deficit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that feels like. Deficit with love, that doesn't exist for me.
And that's something that we need to normalize, is like the platonic love that we can have with our community, because it's like, why would I settle? And I'm saying this as if I was a single person, but
screaming.
it's like, why would I settle for a crusty date when I can have the most romantic date with my friends?
Exactly. Or myself.
With yourself. Yes.
I'm not even gonna lie. I've had this conversation with Noah before, because I mean I am poly, but I'm in a monogamous relationship with my husband, and I don't ever feel like I'm missing out of anything, because I have such rich relationships with my friends. Right. So I don't ever feel well. I mean, first of all, I'm pan, so like it, so like it's not like it necessarily has to be man. But besides that, it's still like, it's like no matter what, my lifelong partners, my besties, they fill me, and these women buy me flowers.
Yes,
they buy me dinner whenever something good happens. They call me, they ask me about my interviews, they cheer me on, they send me dinner. Why the fuck would I've got a good man at home, Savannah. That's a good man. And I got besties that are, why the fuck would I willingly put even as a poly person, put myself out back there in the dating sitch when I got these bitches keeping me happy? I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good.
Exactly.
Like, it's not even worth
like
it.
looking at your partner, and even when we get into like disagreements or something, you're just like, but then you're like, he's a good man, Savannah.
That's a good man, Savannah.
There's nothing
and you know
but
what?
crust.
That's also like, I want to give flowers to the men that are good men. You are showing up. Are you perfect? No. Are any of us perfect? No.
And that's
but like, you take accountability. You use your eyes. You ask questions. You align your words with your actions.
You take responsibility the way that your partner would.
Like, you show up for them. And is a relationship 50-50? Hell no. Like, what? No. It's always someone's able to pull a little bit more because it's, their partner's life is going through such and such. And then it goes the other way, right?
It can shift within the hour. It can shift within the day, within the month.
And there are men, like, I love my father, and I praise him as much as I can. But that man has taught me so much that I don't want in a man. And there are things that I will not accept. I will not tolerate. It is a firm boundary. And that maybe goes back to boundaries with dating. Do a quick analysis of your parents.
You know what I think some of us don't realize until we take a look at our parents? Just because he loves you does not mean he respects you.
That part. Girl, say it louder. Yes, 100%.
And I was crying about this in my last Wine and Wine. Depending on when this airs, maybe 2 wines and wines ago. But that is a lesson I learned from father. He loves me very deeply. Very, very deeply. That man will never respect me. He was never going to respect me. As much as he wants to, as much as he wishes he did, as much as he thinks he does, he does not respect me as a human being. And if your partner loves you but cannot fucking respect you.
There you go. Right.
It's time to reevaluate.
Literally. Yes. Thank you for sharing that with us. Because that's 100%.
You always deserve better.
Always. Yeah. And
you got one life, like...
Listen, and if my man's not... Like, my dad, very, very machismo as a man. But, like, if it's snowing out, my mom doesn't know what it means to walk in a parking lot because she gets dropped off at the door. She doesn't open doors, like those are the little things that I peep from it. Like one of my things on my dating profile back in the day used to be like, hit me up, and that's not a thing. The things like, take me on a date if, or something, ask me out on a date if, or whatever the prompts. And I literally said, if you know the rule for walking on a street with a woman, because my dad would be damned if you ever caught him not walking in on the side of traffic because he's taking the hit if anything happens. He's going to try to protect any female bodies next to him. It doesn't matter if he doesn't know you. That is like how his masculinity shows up for him, right? And I remember just like taking these little notes, tidbits, putting them in my little that's what I want. Those are the things that he has showed me, like that's the bare minimum.
Masculinity is not needing to protect, it's wanting to.
Yes. Exactly.
It's 100%. Wanting to provide. It's not needing to provide.
Yes.
It's wanting to be there.
Yep.
Wanting to be able to serve your
exactly.
partner. Likewise with femininity. It's not inherently taking care of your partner.
Nope.
It's wanting to be there for your partner.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that.
Period.
Yes.
Girl, we're just hire us for your next speaking engagement.
So good.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Okay. Well, what is some for the girlies that do want to date?
Yeah.
For the girlies that do want to date, but that want to make sure that they are not losing the plot along the way. What are some pleasure things that you would have them focus on as they are dating? We've talked about what the single girlies that don't want to date what can do. The girlies that want to date but want to keep themselves first and foremost as far as pleasure goes.
Yeah.
So that they don't just go home with any old crusty guy and say, it was okay, and accept it. What would you say to them?
That's so good. I'm kind of like laughing at this because I'm like, if we want to say like P's
Girl,
and Q's,
I'm like, give me your product recommendations.
Like, if we want to say P's and Q's and make sure we're like that man deserves to experience your sexual energy.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm gonna need you to masturbate before you go out on the date.
Period. Period. Sis.
So then,
expand. Tell us more.
Well, one, you're feeling good.
Okay.
Because the dopamine, the serotonin, it's vibing, it's doing what it's supposed to do. But
You're feeling hot and ready.
Yeah, you're feeling hot. You're feeling confident, hopefully, right?
Ooh,
A little bit of ease too, right? Like, I needed that. Thank you. But then there's like, even if he does something that like turns you on, it's like I'm good because I took care of me. And maybe you're able to hold out for one more date.
Oh my god, it's like going grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Yeah, not that there's like this expectation, right, of how many dates you have to wait. But if you know you're a girly that can make a quick decision and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do things different this time.
Listen, if you want to have sex on the first date, that is an entirely different thing than getting swayed to be open to have something.
That part.
You feel me? So if you know you've gotten swayed in the past, or you can easily be bamboozled into getting into bed, because some of us just fall, then, do that, and then you don't have to.
But then, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's so funny that you said that, because I have told some of my besties, like, don't call him, masturbate first.
Thank you. And
masturbate
the
first,
outcome is
and then I was like, then determine if you actually want to call him.
If the post-nut clarity still gives, I want to talk to him.
Post-nut clarity.
Then you get it.
That's so good.
Then call him 100%.
Right.
But otherwise, sis, wait 5 to 10 business minutes, please, please.
But no, I honestly will say that my answer I think still applies. Because of what we were going back to about like we could do a whole episode on shitty sex education and be literally born in different areas of this country and like same relative experience, right? And so I know if you came from a similar sex education background from like us girlies, consent was not prioritized, healthy relationships wasn't, pleasure wasn't, right? And so I still stay true to like, what is your definition of pleasure? Because even, again, I talk to women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that have not experienced an orgasm. And I'll ask them, tell me your definition of pleasure. Right? But it's like the same. I do, right? But like also not their fault. Like even growing up in that generation.
Yeah. I mean, I act like I'm shocked, but it took me so long to be able to. I thought I had. It took me so long to be able to finally experience that and allow myself to experience that. That was a whole different. So I get it. I mean, it's embarrassing. It takes a while.
And I think too, like also we discount. I'm like a Taurus one. So like food, I don't play around food. I don't share my food. I don't offer my food, especially if I like it. You saw me smashing those pretzels earlier. Immediate. Okay. My other thing is like I feel like we don't appreciate the connection with food and how much pleasure food can provide us. And so like if that speaks to you, right? Like re-examining how food shows up in your life, that way you can then like when he asks you, because he's a respectful man reaching out to you and being like, what type of food should I stay away from or that you thoroughly enjoy, you feel like, okay, one, this man is asking me questions, and two, you can confidently tell him what you want.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to you finding your voice, right?
Yeah.
Throat chakra, vibrant.
Yeah.
So
and it kind of, I'm like, you can kind of set yourself up for the night that you want to have them, because then you
100%.
know, if you want to have a sexy night, you know what kind of food you like to eat ahead of time for that.
I
That
love
doesn't
it.
interrupt with the tom-tom, that makes you feel great.
That part.
That
I'm not feeling bloated.
That's on IBS girly.
I was gonna say
IBS
no.
girly.
It's giving. What was the interview of the two cholos from TikTok, the boyfriends?
Oh yeah, and then they were like, "Who's the I hate when people ask who's the guy and the girl, and it's like, really, it depends who has had more to eat that day.
Like whoever is not having digestion issues is whoever is stopping that day or bottoming that day. Because let me just tell you.
All right. Well, with all the noise in the world, it is so important for our mental health that we find those jewels that sprinkle some joy into our lives. Doctora, what is your sprinkle of joy this week?
Ooh, my sprinkle of joy this week. I think definitely taking a moment for the space that I was living in.
Oh,
Because that's the first apartment that I moved into when I moved to Dallas.
Oh,
From Philly. Yeah. So I had
this is a big
that is
it's
a big
huge
change.
So I was like, wow, I was in this space for 6 years, and like this was like a home that protected me for 6 years. And yeah, so I've been doing like some really intentional like limpias around just to like bless it for the next person coming. And I just hope she gives the same energy for the next person as well. So yeah, that's definitely my moment of gratitude of like, because we like our spaces become like literally our homes, right? And I intentionally love to fill mine with so much love, and so I hope the next person feels that for sure.
I love that. That's so nice.
I know. I was thinking, I'm like, I want to like hide a note somewhere and like hope they find it.
Oh my god, so cute.
So
I love it.
No,
I live.
What about you?
Okay, my moment of gratitude this week was actually, this is super random, but I got a piece of glass in my foot, and I ended up. I was trying to get it out. I was like soaking my foot in a tub in my bedroom, and my husband gets home from work and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I got glass." And he starts trying to tell me that he's gonna take a look at it, and I'm like, please, it hurts so badly. Like I don't want anyone to touch it. Like only touch it if you're 100% certain. He was calm the entire time he was talking to me about it. And I grew up in a household where if you felt pain, no, you didn't. It's who's my tough girl? You've got this. Shh, it's okay. Shh, you're fine. Shh, you're fine. And that was the comforting, right? And so very much like just never allowed to cry because it made my parents feel uncomfortable and they didn't know how to deal with my tears. And so Fuller starts messing with it, and I started like crying, but I feel so comfortable with Fuller. And I feel so comfortable with Fuller. Like I was like, okay, like let's do this. He starts looking at it, and he's like, I think I can get it. And I, through tears, as he's like reaching for it, he touches it, and I'm like, no, like it hurts as you touch it. And I'm like, okay, just like, okay, I'm gonna breathe in, I'm gonna breathe out, and then I'm gonna breathe back in again. And then when I breathe back in, then you're gonna do it, okay? And he's like, okay, absolutely. Not getting annoyed, not getting frustrated with me, just, that sounds good. And I did it once, and he wasn't sure that that's how it was done. He was like, oh, was that it? And I was like, yeah, just like that. And he's like, okay, let's do it one more time. And I'm like, oh, okay, because after I did it and I held it and he didn't pull, I thought that he was going to end up pulling randomly, but he instead made sure that that had bit in, that wasn't. And he's like, okay, let's do it again. And so, and every time thereafter, we weren't necessarily verbally communicating, but it was clear like he was waiting for me to take another deep breath in and hold it before he even messed with it again. And when I said I can't anymore, instead of getting frustrated and saying like, well, Chris, we've got to get this fucking piece out, he's like, that's fine, we can soak it again tomorrow, we'll do everything. He's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, I want some ice cream. And he's like, I'll get you some ice cream, like, and I was literally like, I cried genuinely like a child. It was so nice. It was the worst moment because it hurt so fucking bad, but it was so nice to be able to allow myself to just feel my pain.
Yeah.
And actually feel like somebody gave enough shits about my pain to let me feel it and to be there regardless.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, I'm grateful for him. Whatever. He's great. Whatever. He's nice.
On a good partner.
And that's on a great partner. And me and my Cancer moon showing back up. And that's all I have to say about that.
I love that.
Hello?
I mean, honestly, after the week I had, it was just honestly just surviving it.
Felt.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's just surviving it. I mean, enjoying the little moments and trying to find gratitude. Just, you know, with moments with my husband to soothe me after those long anxiety-driven days. And we recently watched Frankenstein.
The new Guillermo del Toro?
It's so good.
Oh, God.
Honestly, so good. If he doesn't win awards for it, I'm writing because
Flip the table.
Right.
No, it's honestly genuinely so good. And I think it touches a lot of topics on, like, just humanity and vulnerability.
Yeah. Well, Guillermo del Toro said that he made a Mexican telenovela. Like, that was...
It's honestly beautiful.
Wow.
Like, because I didn't know what to expect of it, to be honest, just because I haven't watched as many
Guillermo del Toro films.
Yeah. But I've always got that sense that
Yeah.
it's very intentional, obviously.
Very dark.
Yeah, very dark, but very intentional. And I think the message was very clear, and it was just so beautiful, to be honest. Like, there was just moments where I just, like, grabbed my husband and I was just like, why am I crying? Like, because I am a very sensitive, like, I'm very empathetic when I watch movies, and that's why I stay away from certain movies, because I know, like, I get that emotion.
Yeah, you have no business watching Marley and Me.
No. Oh, absolutely not. I refrain watching any movies with, like, dogs or like pets.
Oh,
because
same.
I know,
I will not rewatch Up. I will not
There are
rewatch
certain
Up.
movies I will not
No,
rewatch
no.
because I already know how I feel, and I was just like, I'm not going to revisit that.
Yeah,
but
I don't care that the rest of the movie is happy. The beginning makes me cry to no end, and I will not watch that woman die. Will not do it.
So, just, like, being able to enjoy the film, and then just like unexpectedly being like, I didn't expect that to get me the way it did, but it did. No, it was beautiful. I highly recommend if you have not watched it.
I haven't.
So definitely you guys should watch it. But yeah, that's my little sprinkle of joy for the week. It's just surviving and having a nice little movie date with my hubby.
I love that. No, I was trying to watch back in high school, I think, The Labyrinth with David Bowie, and I accidentally ended up putting on Pam's Labyrinth, which is a Guillermo del Toro film, and within like 5 minutes someone gets a machete to the head, and I was like,
What is this?
no more Guillermo del Toro for me. And so I'm like, because he does highlight a lot of the cruelties of humanity in his films. And I'm such a soft little empathetic baby. It hurts. I'm already aware of the horrors of this world. I live them every day. I don't want the horrors.
Yes, but we do too.
But we do too, and they can persist over there. So I will, with your recommendation, then I will watch the movie, because if Nolo survived it, I might too.
You can, and you will.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today, and a huge thank you to Doctoras Jessica Sanchez for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invite. I appreciate you both so much. Thank you.
Doctora Sanchez, could you tell our listeners where they can connect with you?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm on Instagram at Latina Sexologist, and then my website is www.drjsanchez.com.
Nailed it.
I was like, what was it? So yeah, those two, maybe TikTok in the future. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We're in no rush.
Yes, yes. I'm always a fan of do less to it better.
That part,
Yeah. But I felt. Well, what are y'all thoughts on today's convo? How are you coping with modern dating? Do you have any questions for Doctora Sanchez? Share your thoughts, questions, tips with us on Patreon, Instagram, or YouTube. Patreon subscribers not only get an exclusive chat to yap with us about this episode, but they also receive exclusive early access to the video episode as well. Videos are released on YouTube the week after this podcast airs, but you can catch this episode video now on our Patreon. Not to mention, of course, the snail mail, the exclusive wallpapers hand-drawn by yours truly, and all of the other perks that we've got. Even free members receive free perks like BTS blog posts and an opportunity to submit questions to our upcoming series, Ask-a-Frahnd. Our Patreon and all other handles, as well as Dr. Sanchez's handles, can be found in the episode description.
30 Flirty and Trying is an individually produced podcast, so if you love this episode, please leave us a review. Your engagement means the world to us and makes a huge difference on the success of this show. Just remember to be kind because we're sensy.
We can't wait to connect with you.
See you next episode.
Dun dun dun! He said something about her being expensive. He was like, oh, trust me, she's expensive. And I'm like, you clearly provide nothing else in this relationship. Shut the fuck up and spend money on her. Like, please, God almighty.
Girl.